one of our staples. Harry is a classic here at My Mom's Daniel. We're super proud to have him. Some serious inspiration. Please welcome Harry.
Yeah, thank you.
Bear with me, I'm trying some new stuff. Alleged leaders of peace have mastered the dialect of hostility. Top secret wars, hard to see. Operations and occupations overseas. These wolves prey on a sheep's deep beliefs. Tomorrow written today, hard blood used as ink. Born-again Christian bringing Armageddon, the small eastern village. Misguided followers of the Talmud bathed in the blood of Palestinians. A weakened nation kneeling in obedience. Freedom is a hologram displayed by a broken projector. Mental slaves find escape through toxic relationships with their addictions. Time heals all wounds, but we continue to pick at the scabs, designing more visible scars, leaving deeper marks. We are trying to love with infected hearts. The wrath of prejudgments, acceptance is a costume unfit, unwrit, rules unlawful, mechanical, winged angel, suffering, engine failure, choking on exhaust. No gods exist within these borders. No angels rest on these soldiers' shoulders. Beware, demons of earth, bringers of sickness, screaming fever, stealers of breath, freedom fighters, assembling squadrons of death, hunting children, while those who believe in vengeance are labeled terrorists within the perimeter of their own homes, executed by drones as soon as they step out onto the streets. Oh, say, can you see our journey from mangers to pyramids to deserts to teepees? We are heartbeats, living drums, daughters, moons, stars, and suns. Once legends, now gain peace. Food for the beast. These histories are hypocrisies of true culture extracted from the youth. Bleeding Cherokee on bent, wounded knees, so easy to mislead when one can't read. Newcomer feeds seeds of supremacy, kings, queens, gods in captivity. The downsizing of ancestry, forgetting who we are, remembering the last shall leather whips, recalling walking through flames. God damned a burning witch, the legend of Mother Nature at war with her children, sold to her highest bidder, to the epitome of the American dream. A wealthy elite with deep, dark secrets. The poor will be executed, the rich will be excused. For this there is no excuse. All hail the Queen, all hail red, white, and blue. So many vicariously living through the success of the very few. The society that's refused to address new reality once again. Escaping Babylon, skydiving from Babel, we babble in tongue, telling tales of freedom, redemption, exploration, transformation. Bureaucrats are turning hope, positivity, and upliftment to blues, insecurity, and fear. The fear of God, the fear of a God that has seen it all, that has watched defenseless children killed by defenseless children killed by defensive tanks, teenage women paralyzed by chosen soldiers, a woman shot dead for treating an old man's wounds, a people claiming a birthright, a people that exploit their prophecies, a people that argue over unity, a people infected with refusal to accept change in a community. I can almost hear Netanyahu scream, "There goes the neighborhood." It is hard to sympathize with separatists no matter which side of the strip. And it is hard to pretend not to see the brutality of so-called pacifists screaming coexist with blood of the innocents on their fists. Do not misinterpret this. For the people, not the government. For the people, not the government. Do not allow this brainwashing to commence. The colonization of the illegitimate Christian, from humbling to troubling to Vatican to politician, the definition of privilege, a God made in their image. Their lieutenants visited parishes and covenants, blueprints with detailed instructions on just how to sway stray congregations to support unnecessary conflict. The God vote, no one knows who they are. Many religions blinding them from spiritualism, binding them to tribalism, conservatism, selling you revised renditions, and liberalism just selling you. And here we are. Holy war, race war, class warfare. Beware false prophets seeking profit. Leaders hiding behind you. Teachers indoctrinating you. Preachers misdirecting you. And the news instructed to keep you quiet, to keep you calm, to keep you alarmed, to keep you violent, to keep you unaware, to keep you confused. The design, the betrayal, the aftermath. newly manufactured idol, the dismantling of a people. Mainstream infects bloodstream with hypersexualization and dehumanization, systematically placed on a road to failure, degradation, exploitation, another slave movie with fully restored mental victimization. We are in a land of opportunists, the playground of our masters, our museums, our collections of souvenirs of our victims. If we can break away from this, we can change this. Many don't believe this, but what if they did? So many slandered for courage, for speaking off script. Today's tolerance seems to be the most intolerant. Voices becoming voiceless. Opinions dismissed, so when told to follow, resist. Burn your flags. Inhale your dreams. Exhale inspiration and be the light. Burning candles, not the candles that melt. Be the thought, the thinker, the ideology behind every great setting. No longer be lamb seeking safety in a lion's den. Drowned out sounds of truth. The comfort of fairy tales tucked in by a stranger's voice. No order in protest, no structure of revolution. Colonizers writing their native stories for them. No obituaries for their victims. Never no reason to invite them in. New breeds of demon continuously blossom. We begin falling before we were ever pushed. Counterfeit labels and stories of fear, we heard these before. We repeat repeats. We feed disease to our dreams. Forgotten moments, fading memories. Heartless heartbeats, a blank canvas, a new day, a new story, hopefully one we can all tell together. Thank you. Let's put together a book through the weekend. It should be available soon, so I'll go ahead and read a little bit from that. Get you interested, hopefully. All right.
Jesus, baby.
Before we were Indians, before they made us Christians, my voice ain't what it used to be, let me walk right back over here. Before the Bering Straits, along the Mediterranean, we were trying to escape. We were trying to escape. We were slaves of Babylon, indentured servants of Ireland, children of Africa, lost descendants of the Appalachians, refugees of occupancies, human experiments with man-made disease, women burning on wooden stakes for the weakness of men, bullied teens who grew up to be quiet men, obedient sheep before the television being fed irrational fears at 6 and 10, for the plight of Palestinians, for the prophets, for the original authors whose life's work has been tampered with, plagiarized, edited, politicized by the churches, rewritten to hide our greatness, to disguise our sin, to cast the shadow over all light, to create control, to cause divide, to all indoctrinated bigots, faithful hypocrites, loyalists disguised as patriots, self-made victims of self-entitlement, sheep, lambs, wolves, lunatics, to all forever willing silence the consequences of extinction events held beyond this border, to all people of earth violently ripped from the wombs of the once promised lands, to all unwelcome voyagers telling true stories differently to make themselves out to be the hero, to every victim offered salvation only to be crucified, to every free thinker, burning witch, individual that has ever been silenced, child that has ever had to hide, you no longer have to be afraid. To all ministers of defense that ever gave the order to slaughter the defenseless, there will be consequences. Vengeance not to be seen as terrorism. We are asking for all colonial outposts to be abandoned, for every U.S. territory to be given back, for every troop to return home. Occupier, come home. Occupier, go home. These present-day roles do not suit us. Peacekeepers cannot be warmongers. Beautiful creatures should not be monsters. Dancers cannot be bankers. Carpenters cannot be painters. Movers cannot be waiters. And poets cannot be anything other than thinkers. The disappearance of difference, loss of culture, of direction, of will. Our names lost in the wind. Our spirits are dying. Our world, our habitat, our climate changed into dirty man doing dirty things. It's a plastic that swims in the ocean, hatred that flows in veins pulsating, gasoline in the water Hawaiians been drinking, tar from the feathers of a flightless bird, the creator of fault lines that run through the Caribbean. He is the reason condos are collapsing and schools of dolphin are beginning to beach themselves. And so I'm asking, where are your heroes now? no good guy riding off into the sunset. Very few governments are not involved in human chess. Today's damsel in distress, a wealthy, bitter, aging, Me Too actress, guilty of selling plenty of the past co-stars into human traffic. Grassroots movements, infiltrated by Central Intelligence, now being trained to fight against justice. Decoy abolitionists now target what's left of this dying creature once known as freedom. There were no survivors of Eden. Replicants rewrote the books but can't tell you what they say. A mistranslated legacy, a semi-fictitious history of imaginary wars plagued with plastic army men. One nation infected with indoctrination. One nation screaming freedom, breeding enslavement. One nation that covered our eyes and ears after whispering fears into them. Adopting propaganda into their belief system. Hatred into their hearts, strangers into their homes. Hearing voices over phones, a new plague with great sadness. Eyes become rivers creating waterfalls while alone instructed to cry, inspired to fight, fueled by the rising price of food, gasoline, and other supplies. Belief in TV more than what we actually see. These fools, these sheep trying to tell them it's like trying to speak to a wall built to border existence, limit vision, clip wings, cage freedom, resonate, brewing hate of the deep-rooted legacy of US, us, versus them. They found and theirs, found and unmarked shallow graves, found far too late, exploited in film, caricature anointed through music, character discredited by fiction, always a suspect subject topic, a safe space conversation. Today's intellectuals birthing old, new, and unimproved ignorance from the comforts of the couches and coffee houses. The intrication and gentrification, the theft of self-identification, the hipsters revamped, revival of colonization, Linwood. American idols replacing iconic legends. We are the fires that sweep through old plantations. Voices of independence muted by major news stations. The origin of creation once again rewritten. We are being raised, not to rise. Our senses have been dulled. We are replicants of pioneers. We plagiarize great speeches. Our very existence mimics others' practices. Great pretenders, those self-centered, demanding attention for another's suffrage. An entire army fighting one man's battle. Heart broke, men broke, no father figure, just talk show hosts, rappers, actors, and athletes led on a leash, told what to speak and so it repeats as we read from our phones and speak quotes off TV. One nation that believes more in the disease than love. Our literacy of actual reality. Our manipulative powers that be. Our demonization of the world's beauty. Our mistranslation of peace. Our sanctions leading to poverty. Our point figures blaming everyone else but we. In the name of country. In the name of convenience. In the name of greed. In the name of intolerance. In the name of celebrity. In the name of large corporate entities. In the name of highly influential elite. In the name of invisible enemies. In the name of concerned citizens. In the name of betrayed soldiers. In the name of those permanently wounded. In the name of those eternally suffering. In the name of infants yet to be named. In the name of unclaimed cadavers. In the name of false teachings, fake news, propaganda, misunderstandings. In the name of silenced voices. In the name of shoot first, fabricate, police report later. In the name of consistent fear, but not in my name. Those who keep us safe and dangerous. And all truth or all no truths. Those who followed ancient books have now found themselves lost in an unwritten, unending sequel. We claim to be this world's power. Unfortunately, we tend to create allies out of actual oppressors, therefore becoming powerless in areas that truly matter, killing others with unspoken hope to consume their power. The power of independence, dreaming, constructing, building, creating, conversation, faith, healing, understanding, love, the power of humility. It is time to admit that we are not as brilliant as we would like to believe, that the powers that be have never truly been what they claim to be. Understand any entity with paid sponsors may not always be completely honest. Your precious pop icons are only puppets to their handlers. CDC realizes there's more money in research and treatment than the actual cure for a disease. CDC cries about your health yet ignores numerous poisons on supermarket shelves. Fast food's still the fastest way to inherit these toxins. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. I hereby declare all leaders unfit and believe that it's time for all of us to find our own way. You, me, we, the people. When we, the people. We, who were once people. When we target people, we are no longer people. Let's try to be people. Let's try to be people. Let's We the people of the Great Divide aboard the sun before it could rise. Cold steel tables have replaced stone altars. We are still performing their sacrifices for them and women. That is not a movement. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for having me.
That's Harry, everybody. One of our favorites here. Really appreciate it.